Hello all. Just out on my morning walk. Some beautiful deer over there in the field. Wonderful old trees. And there's a pub in the background, the Albany. It's quite a nice one. I've been working a lot with clients about tracking different things this week and last week and the last few months actually. Tracking hours, tracking happiness, tracking productivity, best times of the day for people, tracking energy. So I just thought I'd do a little coaching curiosity video on that. It's difficult, it's really difficult to argue with a client, and argue is the wrong word, so I've not got the right energy in it, but to discuss with the client, if you're over delivering on hours, it's hard unless you've got the proof. And therefore timesheets are always really, really popular in companies, and it's proof. And as Steve Jobs would say, sometimes you've got to connect the dots looking back rather than connect the dots moving forward. And I think that being able to prove the hours that you've over delivered on is obviously fundamental to changing a contract or changing the cadence of things. And it's the same for us as people. A lot of people are getting towards burnout, and when you actually look at the hours that you're putting in, those evenings, those early mornings, the calls with Asia in the morning, the calls with America in the evening, it's good to track that stuff and then try to look at that and then try to change. Put in little gaps of kind of thinking time, little gaps to manage your energy and exercise. Clockify. Two of my clients are using Clockify to kind of capture the minutes that they're spending on stuff. It's also helpful to see where you're spending too much time. Too much time with certain tasks or people or stuff like that, and maybe not prioritising the best that you can. My favourite little story, I think it was an award I once saw. I think it was in Brazil, and it was a timesheet. When you did your timesheets, they give you this code, a special code, and at the end of the week in this office there was a massive fridge of cold beer, and the only way you could get a beer out was to put in the code for the timesheets. And that was my favourite thing for reward, more carrot than stick. The other thing really is tracking your energy, and tracking how that is. I listened to a podcast with Mo Farah. It was a Chris Evans podcast recently, and he says he tracks journals every day, which is a really, really good thing to do. And he tracks when races went well, and he tracks when races didn't go that well and he didn't win. But he takes more focus on the things when it's good. He says, so I look what was good about that week, about that day, the sleep, how much you were eating, what you were eating, what you were doing, who you were surrounding yourself with. And he said, I take more stock in the times when it went well, rather than when the times when it was perhaps not as good as other days. So replicate and repeat the good shit rather than focusing too much on the bad shit. And then tracking happiness and energy. So at the moment I'm tracking how many clients I work with a day, but also at the end of that day, how happy was I? How happy was I? How much did I enjoy that day? And I'm having a look at that correlation and that fit. For that, is it 5 clients in a day? Is it 6? Is it 7? So not only how happy am I at the end of that day, because I'm always fulfilled after working with clients, but how good were the sessions as well, and just to make sure that I'm bringing my best self. It's a little something. So yeah, just a few things to track. Track your happiness. Gratitude journaling is really good. I don't do as much as I should, but it's really good. Be thankful. Makes your day go better. So yeah, track happiness, track time, and track energy, and track effectiveness. All right, une bonne weekend. Cheers.